evening, everyone. Welcome to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Safety Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series. We're back for episode 27, titled Miss AAS. Hopefully getting to know Miss Nikki Moon, the face behind Miss AAS here for the American All-Star Series. But I'm joined tonight with my co-host, Joe Rush. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
Wonderful, Allie. Had a few weeks off. I'm ready to get back to racing. So we're less than 2 weeks away from the Trade Show 53 at With Raceway. So can't wait. And ready to be back in the saddle, so to speak.
Yep. Definitely seeing a lot of cars this week. I went to Gaffney this past weekend. Got to see a lot of 602 racing with Walter, our announcer. So got good to see him and his family and seeing some 602 drivers getting out. Some also running crate, so hopefully we'll get to see some John Ruggiero Jr. at With. But don't forget that we are streaming on all of our social media accounts right now, our Facebook, my personal one, as well as Joseph's, our series, and our podcast Facebook page. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, and we also have an Instagram and TikTok, so go follow those. And don't forget about CrateRacing.com for all of your American All-Star Series needs.
Yeah, we keep you updated online and results, points, everything there. I hope this week's points updated shortly. Know that everybody got some weekly racing in. Pretty much. I don't think we had any rainouts at our weekly tracks this weekend. We talked about it last week. Unfortunately, the Gap didn't run 604s this weekend, so guys weren't able to steal any on Sunday. But a lot of good weekly racing this week, so we'll get the points updated, and we'll review this weekend's weekly action next week on the podcast.
For sure. Definitely go out get your weekly points, because some of our drivers are hitting their touring points limit. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot of shakeup in the weekly points. But also don't forget about Off the Dirt merch presented by Landstone Designs. We have hats, shirts, anything you want embroidered. They can make polos. Landstone Designs, hit them up for also your merch too.
Yeah, that's right. They'll take good care of you. Jamie does a good job. I'm always in contact with Jamie, and his work is superb. So definitely check out Landstone Designs for your Off the Dirt merch or any needs of your own.
Yeah, and then as always, Firefly Token is our partner for segment 1. As always, Firefly is a unique high-burn token that rewards long-term holders with a team of dedicated developers and engaged community. It's also a token you can feel good about investing in. Each transfer or sale incurs a 15% burn rate, 5% of which goes directly to charitable causes. For us at Firefly, the primary cause we support is the conservation of fireflies. The global population is approaching extinction, and with your support, we hope to reverse that trend. Joe, how's the token doing?
The token's doing great. I'm seeing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on, so markets have been down all around lately, but hopefully things will start ticking back up. Things are, like I said, things are doing good, but they can always be better. So hopefully we're in a green trend now and working our way up.
For sure. The token is cheap now, so go invest while you can. And hopefully it will go up here soon. And then you'll be making your money as well as Joe and everybody else with the Fireflies, as well as saving the Fireflies. Hashtag save the Fireflies, and hashtag let's go up.
That's right. Next thing, of course, before we bring in tonight's guest, Miss AAS Nikki Moon, Racetrack Connection. For all your needs and services, chat function is back up. Sherman let me know, so chat function is working once again. It's a free app for racers, fans, and tracks that everybody can come together on. It's basically social media for racing, and it's a great opportunity for drivers and fans to interact.
Yes. We will get into the specifics of everything all right at Beckley, Joe?
There's somebody walking on the back stretch. I was just trying to figure out what was going on.
Well, Racetrack Connection, we will get into the specifics of what Racetrack Connection is, but practically it's Facebook for all of racing. Any kind of racing you can think about, that's what Racetrack Connection does. It has a chat feature, it has a buy and sell feature, it has a sponsors needed feature, and a lot of stuff like that. So we'll definitely get into the meat of Racetrack Connection throughout our next segments, but Racetrack Connection is great for you as a driver as well as a fan.
That's right. So definitely check it out. But without further ado, for segment 1 tonight, how about we bring in our guest? What do you say, Allie?
We'll welcome in Miss AAS of the American All-Star Series, Nikki Moon. Hey, Nikki.
Hey, what's up?
Well, Nikki, it's your first time on here with us. It's good to have you. You watch every week. And I just thought, tonight would be a great night to talk to you about, some of your duties and what you do with the series and, your thoughts about it all. So, welcome in. It's good to have you with us tonight.
Good to be here. I really enjoy what I do. I like interacting with the younger generation of drivers and making sure they're interacting with what's going on, because if your parents want to go or if their parents want to go and they're not really interested in it, they're not going to have a fun time. So I want to make sure they are.
That's awesome. Well, I guess just start us off and tell us a little bit about what you do for the series and what you're doing on race night.
Okay, so on race night, before or about an hour before the drivers meeting, I go up to the grandstands, and most of the time there's people that know that I'm about to go up there, so they wave, and I go up to them, and then they sign the waiver. I take their kids, and then we go around and we meet the drivers, and a lot of the drivers on the series are really good about having stuff for the kids. I know Benji Hicks, his mom always has popsicles and fruit snacks and all of that, and then some drivers let them get in the car. They all give out autographs. I give them autograph books so that if a driver doesn't have an autograph hero card, then they will have an ability to sign something, and then they have a souvenir for the night.
Yeah, I love the autograph book. It's a great keepsake for the kids, and one day some of these guys might be famous and on TV. So they got it at an AAS race, so that's really cool. But the lanyards that they get also have the series logo and stuff on them. So just talk about going to all these different tracks and interacting with the different people, because you tour with us with this deal, and you get to interact with a bunch of different people at a bunch of different tracks.
Yeah, I definitely think this year it's a lot more fun. Last year we toured, I was with Brandon and we toured with you, and it's just cool to see behind the scenes of what goes on with the actual series, and being interactive with the kids and making sure everyone is having a good time, not just the older fans. And I definitely like going to these different tracks, because I have to be able to go towards know where the grandstands are. At Beckley, I didn't know where the tower was, and so Brady had to tell me where the tower was, and it was a huge hill to get up there, but it was cool because I learned where everything was.
That's awesome. Well, I know you have sort of a summer camp kind of thing deal that you do with kids as your side job or your job. So tell us how you like doing how that kind of intertwines with what you do with the races with the kids.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to school to be a child psychiatrist, and so it actually helps me be able to interact with kids more. And I also work in an after school program, and during the summer we have a summer camp, so I'm with kids all day, and then during the school year I'm with kids all after school, and so I get even more I guess interactions with kids to know what they go through and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Which fan base have you enjoyed interacting with the most? I think we've been to every track we're going to this year, at least once, except Sugar Creek. We've not been there yet, and maybe a couple others that I'm forgetting. But which fan base have you really just enjoyed interacting with so far this year? Is there one you can point out?
I'm gonna say Beckley, but it's probably only because I had the largest group. I decided to take more than my normal 4. I took 6, and I actually think it worked out really well, because the fans that I took didn't know each other, but they became friends as we walked around the pit area. So I could watch them now they know people that are there, as well as the drivers that are there. So I definitely like that. And they had really good questions for the drivers, and they all wanted to race or knew people that race.
That's cool.
I was going to just build on this. Sorry, Ali. And one really neat thing that you did with the kids at Beckley was you picked up a child with autism and that was special needs, which is really neat. And you got to take that child down there as well to interact with the drivers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're we don't discriminate or anything like that. If you're a parent and you need to go with your kid because of that, then we're on board. Whatever makes your kid feel comfortable.
That's really cool to let the drivers, because most of the kids, they only get to go see the drivers in their cars when it's fan appreciation night. So I think it's awesome that you take them down there on a regular night when it's not just a fan appreciation.
Yeah, and touring with the series last year, I noticed that y'all would do driver autograph sessions, but like drivers are really busy, and so like they can't, like they could take the time out, but like they want to prepare their car. So if you just take kids into the pit area, they'll stop for like 5 minutes and talk to kids. Like makes it easily accessible for them, and the kids get a different side of the racetrack that they've probably never seen.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think this does work better because, you try to do a driver autograph session and it's not like it was in the old days when I was a kid. People aren't piling in, when gates open, which is when we would try to do the autograph session so drivers could go back down there. And what you said earlier, it works perfect because you wait till about an hour before drivers meeting. Then you go up and find some kids to bring down to meet the racers.
Yeah, and at Willard, like they actually got to like stop at the drivers meeting, so all the drivers were there, and they got to see what the drivers meeting was like about and stuff like that. And then we went back up, and then they got to enjoy the race. And then during intermission, me and Brady always go throw frisbees, and the cool thing about that is if you catch the winners, you always get to come in victory lane and take a picture with the driver.
Yeah, that's another great thing we do. The O'Reilly's Frisbee Toss. Appreciate O'Reilly's for supplying us with those great frisbees. Some guys don't like to sign the green ones, but have you seen any since we've been doing those, Nikki? Has there been more green ones or more red ones?
There's been more red ones.
So maybe that old legend's true.
And like I want to do more things. Like I've talked to you about doing like the drawings of the cars like that are there, and then like give them to the kids during like before the feature or before the race starts. And then like they'll get crayons and they can color the cars like to match what's on the racetrack. That way they like are watching the race. That way they know that they can like color it, and then there's a prize for whoever's match is the best or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Another way to get them interacted.
Yeah,
you just want to make like lasting memories.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, then bands. This is where it's built. Is when you're a kid. Joe's been a fan of dirt racing ever since he was a kid because of his grandfather. So. And I've been a fan because of my grandparents. So it's awesome to see how you're building young fans like that.
I also enjoy taking the pictures of the drivers because, like, Logan Walls, like, every time he takes a picture, I'm like, get your kid in there because it's, like, the cutest thing ever. And they're like, we got to get him in it. It's adorable. So, like, anytime I come to your trailer to get a picture with one of those signs, if your kid wants to get in it, I'm never going to say no.
Yeah, and that's awesome. You've done a great job with that, with helping us with getting those pictures and recognizing all our sponsors. A lot of great sponsors help the series out. So I really appreciate the fact that you've helped us with that this year too. You also you and Hayden, our points leader, that's your boyfriend. For those that are watching that don't know, you guys have kidnapped Ricky Green's kid on a few occasions too. Is that right?
We're gonna like kidnap him next time we see him at the racetrack. He's coming home with us. Like after the Beckley, like he literally was Hayden's shadow. It was like Hayden gave him his hat. No, I think Rusty gave him his hat. And then like he stayed with us after through tech and stuff. And then we gave him a shirt and everything like that. Like we're going to steal him. He's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. Well, Nikki, I appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us for about 15 minutes tonight. Do you got anything else that you want to talk about, traveling and things before we let you go?
Nope. It's just always an adventure, especially like whenever I've enjoyed like working with everyone on the series because like it's become like a family. Like me and Allison like always go take interviews, and it's the funniest thing because we always get so many bloopers, and I'm like I always try to record the bloopers because I think it would be funny on TikTok.
Yeah,
but that's just my TikTok mentality.
That's right. Terry Poor says that you always have the coolest kids. It's great to see what she does to make it an awesome experience. So some nice words there from Terry Poor. Terry's great on the tour. I'm sure Terry's always a hoot to see at the track too when you take the kids to him.
For sure. He needs to blow the horn to them because I bet they'd never forget it.
That's right. So there you go, Terry. Blow the horn. Allie loves
that
the
blue
horn
car
too.
blew the horn.
That's right.
The car with the horn.
That's the one we're going to cheer for. So they'll build
have air horn.
So there he goes. He says he's got us covered. So he'll take care of it for us. So Nikki, and like you said, it is like a family. Even with the drivers and the crew, we had our flat tire going to ice them there a couple weeks back, and thankfully you all were on the road too. So Rusty was able to help us, which was a cool deal. And it's just nice to see the family. Actually, what's funny is one of the drivers, Stephen Martin from down in that area, and I don't know if I even told you guys about this part. He saw us with our flashers on and met up with us at Walmart and tried to get us help there before we came back and found you guys. So, just really cool experience, and we appreciate you and having you with us, and have really enjoyed and look forward to having you the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Bye.
All right, that was Miss Nikki Moon, our Miss AAS with the American All-Star Series. Talking about her duties on race night. If you ever see her around and you have a child, then she would definitely probably kidnap him just like Ricky Green's child. But before we move on to segment 2, talking about our upcoming events, let's hear a quick word from our title sponsor, PPM Racing Products, and the official fuel of the American All-Star Series, Renegade Racing Fuel.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques, let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just better than anything else you can get.
Racers that win, pour it in, and we appreciate you.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. We just met our Miss AAS, Nikki Moon, talking about what she does on race night. But before we talk about the upcoming events for the American All-Star Series, let's talk about Racetrack Connection.
Yes, Allie, Racetrack Connection.
Like that one.
So Racetrack Connection is a great app developed by our good friend Sherman Callan. He's come to several races this year. He's put so much into this. I think we're going to get him there for the trade show, for Trade Show 53 at With Raceway. We'll talk about a couple of our vendors here in just a minute that are coming, and some more that we hope to see. So Racetrack Connection, though, drivers go in, put their schedule in, put a little bio in, picture of their race car, and they sign up for the events and the class they run. And it's a great way for the fans here in the stands to know that you are who you are in the race, and not just number 12 out on the track.
Definitely useful for touring or traveling racers that go to tracks that's not in your hometown, that people don't know who you are. You can go in, put a bio in, and they can literally, you check in at the racetrack that you're at right there, where you're at, they can see your name, your car, your resume, where you're from, where you're normally racing at, and maybe come follow you and maybe gain some fans.
Yeah, I needed Racetrack Connection this past weekend at Beckley because usually I know everybody, but there was a 99 car in the pits, looked just like Kyle Hardy's car. I thought that's who it was. I called it Kyle Hardy all weekend. It was actually Cameron Marlar, whose car now looks just like Kyle Hardy's. They're both number 99, and they're both white, predominantly white with blue. So I was all messed up this weekend, and had drivers been signed up on Racetrack Connection, I would have been in a whole lot better shape.
Yeah, I heard about that, but yeah. So Racetrack Connection, if you are a driver or you're a fan, go download either the user app or the driver app and get your profile started. It's an awesome app, and we will get into more of what Racetrack Connection does in the next segment.
Yeah, before we move on, we need to go back and pick up some comments we missed there in the first segment. Marcus Mays says hopefully he'll be racing with us next year. So it looks like he might be moving up from the Classic division. Put on a phenomenal race last night at the Gap, did Marcus Mays. Enjoyed watching the Classic race. He and his Uncle Bobby out there battling it out for the lead. Cody Early says Sugar Creek's a blast. Got to hang out with Cody this weekend at Beckley. It was good to see Cody. And Cody gave Beckley some love at the next 2 nights of the racing. So thank you for that, Cody. David Allman says Beckley's a good place. We had a good crate race. The super late race was good on Friday night for 10,000 to win here at Beckley, but the weekly AAS race may have stole the show. So it was a pretty good race there for our weekly boys. Dylan Gillespie hanging out here on the page. Everybody that is Anybody Knows What's Going On there. And we've got Chris Cottle here with us. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you always popping in on the show. So, we get ready for our next race. We did cancel our July 29th event at Natural Bridge Speedway. Some things are going on there, and I just don't think we should go there with the series right now. So next up is July 30th, the Trade Show 53 at With Raceway. Now, this is a special event because we started this in year one. It's been a part of the deal since year one. And what Fred does is it was originally scheduled as a $5,000 to win race. Well, Fred decided he was going to put up a $5,000 bonus, and it's now $10,000 to win, but it does follow our $5,000 to win purse from second on back. We do have a $500 gift certificate to MD3 that goes with the second place finish, so it does boost up second place a little bit from what a normal payout is, especially right now when nose kits are expensive in the economy. So, that's a nice prize there that MD3 gives out there for second place. But the Trade Show 53 is a, Fred likes doing it this way. It does make the drivers race really hard to win this race. I know last year Corey literally gave it everything he had trying to get around Dylan Brown.
Yeah. Trade Show 53 was one race that I will never forget watching and scoring for the series. It is, Dylan Brown had already won. We had more 10,000s before with last year. So he had already won, two or two?
Because Beckley was before last year and Charlotte. So he won Beckley and Charlotte.
He had won two, and we were like, well, Dylan's always really good at with, so we're like, Corey's going to have his hands full because of Dylan Brown. But then I was like, Dylan's going to have his hand full because it's Corey Hedgecock, And Corey tried everything he could to try to catch up with Dylan, but towards the end, Dylan was just checked out and there wasn't anything for him.
Right. Yeah, Corey was deep in the field too. I mean, Corey started like 15th in that race or something, I think, which I watched Corey in the super races this weekend. He kind of buried himself at the gap, and he was started deeper at Beckley too, and he won the race at Beckley in the supers this past weekend. But Corey likes to make it exciting and march through the field. So he's definitely made he that night, he started deep and marched through the field once he got to Dylan, it was a race. The fight was on, and they ran each other very, very clean. One of the cleanest races that you'll ever watch between the two, and Dylan was able to hold him off and pocket that $10,000.
Yeah. 53 laps is a long time around with Raceway.
Yeah, Fred does that in homage. His first 10,000 win races were with Ray Cook, so he does that. He likes that 53 that they run with the Ray Cook races. So he said, why don't we do 53, something different, and we've stuck with it ever since. And the trade show idea, to kind of loop back to the beginning of the night on those deals, I think gates are going to open at 11 a.m. that day, and we set up kind of a little mini trade show. This was an idea that Fred and as Tech Man Tommy came up with. We were sitting and talking about things to do to make it different. So they said they do this at like motocross races and stuff like that. So that's how the trade show got involved with this race, and where that idea came from. And those there at the trade show race, we have some vendors set up. I think we're going to have Sherman there with the Racetrack Connection, and I know for sure that John Ackley is coming to represent Outside Groove for the Outside Groove Racing Show for his trade show that he has in Knoxville in February. Excited about that and excited to be a part of that again. We were the first vendor to sign up once again. First year we were number one, and year number two we were the first vendor to sign up. So going to try to keep that tradition going with John. But, that's one of the really great things that he does that he'll be offering. I've also reached out to O'Reilly's, and hopefully we'll have O'Reilly's, some of the local O'Reilly's people there as well. So, anybody that's watching that has a small business that, racers might be interested in, reach out and we'll get you guys set up to be with us for the trade show. So also Risco might be there. I have a Teams call with them this weekend, so we might see Risco as well.
That's awesome. Well, definitely Trade Show 53 is a great place for you to set up your stuff at the racetrack, get drivers' attention there on race night. it's an awesome place to do it because we pull a Withville. When we have a 10,000 there, we pull a lot of drivers and a lot of people from different places that you may not reach for your in your hometown. So it's going to be an awesome night, and it's going to be a great show because it's a 10,000 to win, and we always put on a great show, whether it's a 10,000 or whether it's a 5 or 3.
Yeah, it's always fun at Withville. I know you were talking to Ruggiero. I know you mentioned that you think Benji Hicks is going to be there. We know Dylan Brown will be there. Jacob Brown will probably race there as well.
Go away.
Bo will be there. We do a teardown, and we will do it at the track. So that way, whoever wins the 10,000 to win race, they get their motor back at night. They don't have to travel anywhere else. We've got a flow bench in-house now. It's in the trailer that we use for our teardown to flow the heads. We're the only series in the country that does that when checking 604s. So we've got that all set up, ready to rock and roll. Ronnie's checked it since we ordered, cleaned it up, so it'll be ready to first time we use it. We'll be there for the Trade Show 53 teardown at With Raceway. David Allman says Corey Allman will be in the house with us at With. That's exciting. Corey's a tough racer out of Appomattox, Virginia, so it'll be good to have Corey with us as well. Bo, you're going to be there, so for the teardown and all. So really excited to have you as a part of the team, Bo, and knowing that you're going to be there helping Ronnie with the teardown that night.
Wow.
So, Tyler Blankenship, I'm doing well. I can't speak for the other half of the show. So, so that's the Trade Show 53, July 30th. Small trade show with the event. Like I said, we've got a small business that's involved in racing. Would love to have you come be a vendor for us, get set up. Even if it's as simple as coming and handing out some business cards. I was actually talking to my buddy Shane Bells at Pro Built Motors. He's one of our engine builders. I think he's going to come hang out that night, but not have a full-blown booth, but, have some business cards there and talk a little bit about some of the stuff he does as well. So definitely going to be a great show, Trade Show 53 with Raceway, 10,000 to win, July 30th, Allie. And then when we're going to take our break here in a second. When we come back, we're going to talk about another 10,000 to win to back the Blue 76.
Back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back weeks, that's right. So almost unheard of in crate racing for crate races. Both single-day shows, 10,000 to win. Man, oh, man. It's a great time to be alive. It's going to be a great few weeks of racing. So
it certainly is. Well, before we start to talk about our next event after With Raceway, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, the title sponsor of American All-Star Series, PPM Racing Products, as well as the official fuel of the American All-Star Series, Renegade Racing Fuel.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques, let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just built better than anything else you can get.
Racers that win, pour it in, and we appreciate you.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series. We've had a really good show so far, talking about our next upcoming events, as well as talking to Miss AAS, Nikki Moon. But before we talk about August 6th, let's talk about Racetrack Connection.
Racetrack Connection is a great app for drivers and fans. So one thing that we've not talked about yet tonight that Racetrack Connection offers is a option for drivers to put a resume in. Well, what might that resume be used for? You say, well, you use it to attract sponsors. That's right. You can use Racetrack Connection to go out and look for sponsors. So all the time I have drivers say, well, I can't get sponsors, or I have a hard time finding sponsors, or I don't even know how to get sponsors. Well, put your resume in Racetrack Connection and upload it and let Racetrack Connection do the work for you. Mm-hmm. So that's one great thing on Racetrack Connection we haven't talked about tonight. as well as the fact that you can buy and sell things. So it's just like Facebook Marketplace, but for race cars only. So you can buy and sell on Racetrack Connection. A lot of great things that it offers. Drivers, you need to sign up. You need to use it. Bo Thompson's on board. And if Bo does it, everybody should do it.
Yeah, Bo knows,
But
And
that's right.
Finally, he signed up. But if you are a driver or a fan watching this right now, go ahead and download the user or driver app of the Racetrack Connection. Get your profile set up so we can build this app and get it to where it needs to be.
That's right. So we'll talk about Bo in the bloopers segment because Bo always makes bloopers. So little Bo, we'll talk about him a little bit when we get to the bloopers segment. But for now, download Racetrack Connection and get on board. I know weekly racing is going to be center stage for the series again this week. I know we've got weekly races at Isom and Willard and Beckley, and I'm not sure if I-75 is running this week, but Crossville. So all the tracks out there offering weekly racing. Guys can get their points. Hayden got a win this past week on the weekly racing, and
2 wins, but 1 weekly racing.
Yeah, one with us. So he'll be making a charge toward AJ. AJ started dropping, so we'll see what happens after I get the points updated for this week's weekly action.
Yep. But speaking of races coming up, we have weekly racing again this weekend. However, we come back to With, and then the very next week we're back at Beckley Motor Speedway for a 10,000 win on August 6th, the Back the Blue 76.
Get a Back the Blue 76. This is going to be a thrilling race. 10,000 to win, 400 to start. So you can't win it if you're not in it. You got to be here. I believe on Friday night, August 5th, there will be an open practice. So guys, of course, are welcome to stay. I know Beckley has a campground. Carson Ferguson took advantage of that campground this past week after the Super Race and hooked up there. So anybody wants to come up for practice, the campground will be open. I think it's $60 a night. So can't beat that. Definitely a whole lot cheaper than going and getting a motel room to have full hookups, power, electric, everything you need. So, but the Back of Blue 76, I love this race. We decided to go 76 laps. It's a little different. And with it being a Back the Blue event, back in our police officer 76, America was founded in 1776. So let's go 76 laps. Let's go one more than 75, and let's see if that last lap makes a difference.
Absolutely. The last Back the Blue 76 was an awesome race at Beckley Motor Speedway. We had quite a few cars. I can't remember. Did I stay that weekend?
Yeah. We had 36 cars signed in. You got to hang out at Travel Lodge that weekend, and
that weekend?
What?
Oh, this was like earlier in the season last year.
Yes. Okay. This was earlier in the season last year. We were in this race.
If you come to Beckley Motor Speedway and you need a place to stay, don't stay at the Travel Lodge on Harper Road.
Yes, we want you to stay at the campground. So that's a good, safe place to be, and where we want you at for sure. So, but a great race last year. 36 cars were signed in for the Back the Blue race last year. What a field! I believe 36 is right. I may be off by 1 or 2, but I think it was 36, and it was a stout field of cars. But Dylan Brown was the winner when he was the big money winner last year, dominating the big races. And he put on a show. Zach Dome, the king of Beckley, ran second in the event last year. And I saw Zach this past weekend, and he told me he just got a brand new crate motor. So we can go ahead and write him down. He'll be here Saturday, August 6th, chasing that 10,000 to win race at Beckley.
Awesome. Well, Beckley always puts on a good show. If you've watched the Southern Nationals, they put on a good show the other day. But Beckley is a great place for crate racing. And it's a great place for those East Tennessee boys to kind of find a track that's similar to their home tracks. Yeah,
I know guys talk about the dirt being similar to Wartburg's all the time. That's something that you hear real often. It's a lot like racing at Wartburg. But, the racing is good here, good local cars that mix in well with our touring guys. And just like last time we were here, Michael Bland is local to the area. Hayden Cardwell won the race. Michael led the first part. And then I think first and third were touring drivers, and second and fourth were locals. So that kind of gives you the idea of things. Henry Hornsby ran second. I'm going to see if we can't get Henry on as our guest for next week's show. Been trying to talk him to come into With too, because Beckley's going to try to help With pull out next week and run on Friday night. So the crate cars that are here local can come run for the 10 grand as well. So love to see tracks work together and do things like that. And definitely a shout out to Randy for doing that to try to help some cars be able to come run for the big money and not get behind on weekly points as well.
Yeah, for sure. And, Beckley With, the only problem is that they don't run crate weekly. So they can't get their weekly points at With normally. So, and With is also a popular spot for crate racing. So it's going to be awesome to hit With and then go to Beckley for the Back the Blue 76.
That's right. And I do want to mention Beckley is paying a little more than a regular race, $1,200 to win next Friday night for that event. So, give a little extra money to the crate guys. I know some of the touring guys will stop in. Logan Wiles has already said, hey, I'm going to run at Beckley next Friday, so he can get tuned up for that 10 grand. So we'll see some guys, I think, do that. And, I just expect another phenomenal race both at Beckley and With these next two races for the series. Both $10,000 to win. Can't beat that. Good money on the line. Going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait.
For sure. It's going to be an awesome 2 weeks ahead of us. This week, weekly racing, and then With, and then Beckley. So it's going to be an awesome 2 weeks we have for the American All-Star Series, back-to-back 10,000s, and it's going to be an awesome show both weekends.
That's right. Like I said, almost unheard of in crate racing. So both one-day shows. Can't beat it. Best money in crate racing right here at the American All-Star Series.
Yep, for sure. Well, before we move on to the almost best segment of the show, the blooper segment, let's see a quick list of our sponsors of the American All-Star Series. Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series. We spent this show talking to Miss AAS, talking about her duties on race day, getting your kids involved into racing early, and talking about our next events on July 30th and August 6th with Raceway for 10,000, the Trade Show 53, and the 10,000 at Beckley Motor Speedway for the Back the Blue 76.
That's right. So there's your own blooper. Only blooper you've had all show, I think, other than the fact we were fighting over whose background to show earlier. During one of the commercial breaks, we do some moving around during the commercial breaks that you may not notice, but with some things on the screen. So we, had a little fight over who was posting what, but we got it done and was ready to go by the time it was time to be said.
Yeah. So, between the commercials, now we've had to change it within we've done probably 6 episodes with like the commercials, 2 commercials. So we've had to get the background, take all the other stuff off, take us out, take the banners down, and then put on. Yeah, it's a lot. So, but we got it pretty good now.
Yeah,
We don't even need notes anymore.
That's right. We make it happen. It goes well. So, show's been really smooth tonight. Of course, we've always got to bring up. Oh, William needs to know if you're in a closet. This is a good time to talk about this.
This isn't a closet. Kendall is playing his racing game on his phone, and he doesn't want the light on, and currently it's too bright, so I had to open the window and put the lamp on, and I'm right next to his iRacing rig. Thanks, Kendall.
I did. It was starting to look like you were in a closet. Good point, William.
That is his closet, though.
So he put you at the closet, just not in the closet.
Yeah.
So, all right. We always bring up Bo during the blooper segment. I don't really think Bo did much this week to talk about. I haven't seen Bo a whole lot this week. So, old Twister, I think he's all right this week. But I always have to bring him up here, him and Puddin'. So, William says thumbs up. So,
I do have a blooper from today.
Oh, share.
So, I was racing. I mean, not racing. I was washing my first race car today, and it was extremely dirty, and it was starting to rain. Well, Kendall was putting the lug nuts on the tires, the wheels, and I was screwing them in, and I cut my finger. About cut it off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully you didn't do that.
It was slippery.
So, yes, that sounds awful, painful. So, Bo said he had to fix Randy's blooper. He had to get him out of the mud. So, Randy might not like, there we go. Randy said Bo got the dozer stuck. So, sounds like that Bo was the problem. Yeah, that's right. Always Bo's fault. Yeah. So if there's any issues, you blame Bo. So that's where we're at. I don't know that we've got any other bloopers to really talk about.
Some days there ain't,
Some days there ain't. That's right, Allie. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. Next week, I hope to have Henry Hornsby on with us. I asked him, we thought Kobe was going to be on with us, and he canceled on us again. So I'd asked Henry last minute if he wanted to fill in tonight, and he was at the beach. So hopefully we can get Henry Hornsby on with us. He won the first ever American All-Star Series race at Beckley, so it'll be good to get him on, chat about that, and see if we can't talk him into coming to Withville for the Trade Show 53 as well.
Yeah, it'll be an awesome show next week, Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always here talking about dirt racing. Me and Joe just get on here and ramble about the American All-Star Series and what happens and what we do on race night. And hopefully we can get Henry in here next Monday, and we'll have a great show before we head to With for 10,000.
That's right. Be here with us. Be here or be square. All day long we'll be at Withville next Saturday, July 30th, 11 o'clock on Trade Show 53. So much fun. I love spending my whole day at the racetrack. I love when gates open early like that. It is one of my favorite things. So cannot wait to be there. 11 a.m. next Saturday at With Raceway.
Definitely going to be a good time. But, Joe, if you don't have anything else.
That's it for tonight.
That's the dirt for Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.